This is Mindfulness with Richard. I'm Richard Clarke. Welcome. This series focuses on meditation, particularly mindfulness. Well, welcome everybody. How was your meditation last week, Doug?
Actually, it was a good week of meditation. Just every day. I've started taking a class in Tai Chi, so
Okay.
I'm hoping to combine the two, but that will probably be in the future. Right now, I'm having a lot of trouble memorizing the Tai Chi moves.
Mhm.
Um, but so that'll be something for the future. But for right now, yeah, I had a good week of meditations.
That's good. And certainly Tai Chi can be meditative, but somehow you have to get enough in the groove where you can have movement and stillness at the same time.
Right, you have to get to the point where your body knows the moves,
Right,
so
right,
you don't think about it.
right.
I
Yeah,
found it difficult. I found like I'm not, very good at learning dance moves, and to me, that's what that is. It was hard.
right. Well, I'm in the same situation. I never was able to dance. I could never remember the steps. Uh,
Right. So
but I've been practicing.
Okay, good.
very good.
How about you, Carol?
Um, it's been good, and as I have said every week recently, that when we have Evelyn sitting with us, it seems to be deeper. So, note to everybody: do a group meditation.
Hey, I think that might be what we're doing now.
It could be.
Yeah,
Okay, good. How about you, Richard?
good. I'm part actually of a meditation group that's out of Boulder.
Uh-huh.
A lot of Buddhist teachings there, and we meditate, and it's really good. I'm letting the meditation dance me.
Are you,
Right.
Richard, are you going up to Boulder to do it, or are you
No,
doing it
we're
on
doing
Zoom?
it Zooming.
Oh, good.
Okay, very good. Very good. My meditation continues to be good. It's still been a little harder because of the pain from the broken tailbone. So I still sometimes am successful in kind of standing past the pain, and sometimes it's distracting.
Hmm.
But, it still seems to continue to get deeper somehow.
Richard, what service are you on?
I am on uh, the the fiber total play.
Okay, I am too. I'm gonna get off it and get on the other one.
Okay, then let's wait for
Should be
Carol
should be really fast.
to come back.
I think this one is more robust. Anyway, okay, I'm on it now.
Okay, okay. So here, let us start then with our first meditation for today. And mindfulness is present moment awareness, paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally, fully receive whatever is experienced, then let it go. All right. Hello there, Barley.
Hi,
Hi, Barley.
Hi, Barley.
Richard.
Hello.
Now, this week I want to talk more about quieting the mind. The problem in meditation is quieting the mind. This quiet mind opens the doorway to a sense of inner peace and deep levels of understanding and self-knowledge. But the mind is full of thoughts. After all, that's what it does, think. A fundamental issue in meditation, then, is how to quiet the mind. I've talked about this before, and I'll probably talk about it again. An important step in learning how to quiet the mind is to recognize the statement, I think, therefore I am, is simply not true, and that our existence does not depend upon our thoughts. We exist, whether we're thinking about it or not. Nobody can deny that. You are not a thought. Rather, you are the awareness or the consciousness in which thoughts arise. In your most natural and energetically powerful state, you are pure awareness, and you are connected to something that is more than just a thought, a deeper way of knowing. When you're in this state, there are no thoughts about the future or the past, just full immersion in the present. Of course, this begs the question of what is the source of our thoughts? There are multiple sources, including our biology, the environment, behavior, and the actions or statements of other people. Then there are internal sources like memories, fears, and desires. These keep our mind actively engaged in thinking, in analyzing events, people, and everything else. All of this is organized in reference to you, to your idea of yourself. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. It certainly helps in dealing with the world, but it's counterproductive to experiencing a quiet mind. And then there are these thoughts that seem to come out of nowhere. These thoughts seem to come when there are not competing thoughts occurring in the mind from the sources mentioned before. Sometimes it seems like an instantaneous, complete understanding of something that you may or may not have been thinking about. Sometimes it's a new understanding about yourself. This suggests that our mind are connected to a source of knowing that is beyond our usual kind of cognitive awareness. This is what we do when we meditate. We open up to this deeper source of knowing. When we're in a state of pure awareness, then we are most open to receive these thoughts or inspirations. In contrast, the thoughts most people tend to have is about what happened in the past, what could happen in the future, or a judgment about what is happening now. Such thoughts can make it seem like we're living in a hurricane with fear-based and negative thoughts constantly swirling around in our mind. So how do we transition from being in a hurricane of thoughts to being in the eye of the hurricane, where it's still and experiencing a quiet mind? Here are a few ways. First, there's just basic meditation. The process of quieting the mind is an experiential one. A key is becoming comfortable having no thoughts, having this happening for at least a short period of time. Doing this in your meditation builds new habits that will help take your mind to quieter and quieter places over time. There are many ways to meditate, and there's no right or wrong way. Most have several elements in common: sitting in a quiet place, closing your eyes, being still, and letting go of the mental chatter. It matters less what style you choose and more that it's something that you can sustain and do regularly for the rest of your life. The biggest benefit from meditation comes over the long term. There is mindfulness meditation, which is what we do here. And this is the practice of living fully in the present moment during all waking moments. And that's the goal of mindfulness practice. That's what we do when we feel our breath. We feel it now in this moment. For many people, this is an aspirational goal, that is, every moment mindfulness. For some, it's an ongoing experience. Some dip into it and out of it. In mindfulness, we might watch the breath. So feel your breath now in this moment. Don't think about it, feel it. This feeling is always now. A key to moving closer to this goal is to notice whenever your attention or thoughts are drifting into the past or the future. You can then return to the moment by watching, by feeling your breath. There's another approach called the release technique. And this technique involves learning to recognize when your mind is active. Often this is out of some desire for approval or wanting to control or to change things, wanting safety and security, or even wanting to figure things out. Ultimately, the mind quiets when you learn to let go of wanting something else, or thoughts and feelings about lacking. The big three thoughts are about wanting approval, wanting control, and wanting safety or security. All this thinking and wanting only drains energy and takes away attention from the present moment. Instead of wanting something else, practice wanting this moment. Practice wanting what you already have. Release the wanting. Well, relish this moment, this now. Now is the only time you've ever felt joy. So it turns out now is actually this joyful moment, or can be if we take time and notice it. Another approach is breathing deeply. And in this, you take slow, deep breaths from your abdomen, paying attention to each breath you take in and out. Put your hand on your stomach and feel how it rises and expands as you draw air in and falls as you let air out. Take deep breaths, relax your muscles, and relieve the tension in your body. This also brings you back to this moment. One more way to quiet the mind is to ask yourself the question, is what I'm doing now aligned with my goals? If yes, then you can be at peace, meaning you're fully present and focused while engaging in the activity, recognizing that thoughts of the past or future are distractions unless they help you get the job done better. This is because when you're fully in the present, the mind is at its most powerful state. As a final reminder, it's important to recognize that you are not your thoughts, but rather the awareness behind thoughts. In reality, most people are going throughout their day judging their experiences as they're happening and thinking about what is next, rather than fully experiencing them in the present moment. The more we quiet our minds, the more we are able to truly and directly experience life. Remember, this is a process. Perfection is not the goal. In fact, pursuit of perfection in this endeavor is counterproductive and serves to unquiet or disturb the mind. A better way is to notice and accept who and where you are right now. Take it one step at a time. Take actions towards your goal of creating a quieter mind. Detach yourself from needing a particular outcome to occur. This process will allow your mind to transform to its natural, calm, and quiet state. Now, in line with what I've been talking about, here's a video from Awaken Insight. The video is The Quiet Mind.
A mind that is calm, that is quiet and still, is a mind that is clear. And with a quiet mind, one is able to perceive with clarity, to experience a deep sense of peace. Now, in meditation practice, we hear quite often, usually as one of the first instructions, to quiet the mind. And anyone who has tried this knows that it's very difficult, if not impossible. It would seem, in fact, that the more we try to quiet the mind, the noisier it becomes. So how do we do this? What's the trick? I would say that there's a bit of a misconception here, and it may simply just be in the way that it's worded, because when we hear this instruction to quiet the mind, it seems that this is something which is done by some sort of willful force or effort. So I would say that the misconception is in the language, that it's not about trying to quiet the mind by some kind of effort. It's not about stilling the mind, but rather allowing the mind to still. Do you see how there's a difference there between forcing and allowing? To still the mind implies that you have to make some kind of effort. To allow the mind to still implies no effort, no doing of anything. A useful analogy for this is to think of the mind as a pool of muddy water. And the mud is like the various thoughts and emotions which cloud the mind, making it difficult to perceive with clarity. So, how do you make cloudy water clear? If you try to force it in any way, let's suppose that you take a stick and you try to remove some of the mud, or you try to push it aside or what have you, any movement will just cause the water to become more disturbed, more clouded, because whatever you do, you're just stirring it up all the more. So when you try to stop your mind from thinking, when you try to push the thoughts out, all you do is agitate the mind. And if you go on like this, it becomes extremely frustrating because actually you're just making it worse. So how do you make cloudy water clear? You stop stirring it. You leave it and allow the mud to settle. Naturally, if the water is left alone long enough, all the mud and debris will settle and the water will become clear. So with the mind, it's the same. But first of all, we have to understand that there is the mind with all of its thoughts and emotions. And then there's the awareness in which all of that occurs. All of that is taking place within the field of awareness. Another useful analogy is to think of this awareness as the sky and thoughts and emotions as clouds. Whether there are clouds or no clouds, the sky is always present. Whatever the weather, the sky remains unaffected by it. The weather is always changing, but the sky is ever present and unchanging. And so the trick is to withdraw from the mind, so to speak, to step back into that space of awareness so that one is observing the mind, but is not caught up in it, not identified with it. To recognize that one is the awareness in which thoughts and emotions and all other experiences are taking place. And from that space we can observe as thoughts come and go, like clouds passing across the sky, but to be in a place of simply watching so that we aren't carried off by thought. To observe means that we aren't participating in any of it. We're not trying to do anything or force anything. We're just watching. We're just being in that space, observing everything. Not just the mind, not just thoughts and emotions, but everything. And that space of awareness itself is stillness. It's the stillness in which all activity is occurring. It's the silence in which all sound and thought is occurring. And so it's not about silencing anything or stilling anything so much as coming into that space of stillness and silence in which everything else is occurring. And so if there are any sounds occurring, simply notice, listen intently, notice the sensations of the body. If the eyes are open, notice the forms and the colors. Notice all of it without interpretation. Just perceiving everything as it is, unfiltered by thought. And as you come into that space and settle there, naturally, effortlessly, the mind begins to settle. To be in that space of awareness, to be that awareness, to be in a state of gentle observation, of presence, the mind naturally begins to still. It naturally becomes calm, and simply allowing the mind to be with whatever thoughts arise and not to interfere in any way. As you remain in that awareness, thoughts begin to settle, the mind begins to quiet all on its own.
All right. Now we'll do a little more meditation and just settle in. Feel your breath and notice that thoughts move through you like the clouds passing in the sky. Just let them pass and feel the calm, open space. Right. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Shanti.
Om. Peace, peace, peace. Any questions or comments about today's session?
Great being with everybody. It's always so inspirational. I love it.
Well, it's good to see you, Barley.
Thank you much.
I liked how he said that you can't will it, you know.
Mhm.
Just you give yourself to the practice and see what happens.
Mhm. Well, I know I've spent a lot of time trying to make it happen, and the more I try to make it happen, the less it does.
Yeah, it seems that the one that's trying is the one that's separate and has got to disappear.
Right, exactly, exactly.
Yeah. Like he said, it's like muddy water. I thought that
Mhm.
was a really, it was a good metaphor.
Yes, I appreciate that metaphor too.
Yeah. I had a really peaceful meditation after both those talks.
Oh, good, good. Then to me, that means as you went into the last meditation, somehow before you started, your mind already had been gotten quiet, and that, maybe, what we did beforehand, uh, that kind of preparation, I found helps to quiet my mind.
Mm.
When we were in India, Carol and I, in the morning would go up to some cave ashram. There was about a mile up the mountain, and listen to the Swami chant and meditate there. And usually they were good meditations. And after a while, I realized one of the reasons they were good meditation is that we prepared ourselves. When you're going up the hill, you think about where you're going to go and what you're going to be doing. And by the time we got there, we were ready to sit down and be quiet. You're muted, Carol. You're muted.
Okay, and then of course, after you go up the hill, you're listening to this, 15-20 minute chant,
Right.
which is also really good to put you
Mhm.
into the meditative state.
Mhm. So at one level, I think of all of these as tricks. you know, it's not, are just ways perhaps of distracting the mind so it'll get out of the way. Is that a little bit like the bullfighter with his cape?
Don't go there.
Anyway,
Like
except for
bullfighting.
the horns and he's trying to kill you, it's similar. Anyway, good to be with you. Good meditations, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Namaste.
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 Okay, thank you.